Hi, this is Brent with Trade Therapy. Welcome to the Trading Couch. We are talking about Amazon, our Clarity Spotlight last week, the forgotten mega cap. It's been quietly setting up for its next move. Hasn't really been drawing a lot of headlines. It's just quietly been going about its business and kind of a textbook case of a managed pause or kind of slow, low volume profit taking. You can see this impulsive structure coming out of the low in late 2022, early 2023. You can see the development of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure right there. And we see an ABC back test here, back to the point of control, back to the previous distribution from the last cycle. It set up really well the last time we looked at it in April for this move right here, which is what we were looking for coming out of April. And it's exactly what we got. We got this big push coming out of that bottom again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now looking for the potential of a back test here. This is profit taking. You can see the elevated volume coming up at the top. You can see profit taking on the way up. From this low right here, you see the large volume coming in at the bottom. They take their positions, they take some profit here, and then they take profit again and set up for a potential back test here, a 50% retracement of one of these impulsive moves. It's very common. It's what we'll be keeping an eye on and what we've discussed within our Clarity Spotlight last week. It's not institutional panic selling. It's not institutions dumping their positions. It's really them defending their position that they've taken much lower. They do need to recognize some profit. We are seeing elevated levels coming back in on these pullbacks. You can see how the 200 daily exponential moving average has been tested, where it provided resistance at this level. So resistance, it's now been retaken and it's being back tested here. So back test. And we'll probably see another back test in here with the potential for it being undercut to go after this gap right here. It's a very similar setup that we saw over in XLY. When we took a look at the consumer discretionary ETF and sector, we saw the same kind of a setup. And when we see these types of setups that make perfect sense, we are going into seasonal volatility. There has been a big run. There's a lot of gains left on the table. We have volume confirming that we should expect to potentially see a C leg down here. Again, possibly undercutting this 200 daily exponential moving average, just to panic retail out of the trade. That's where stop losses will be set. They will also be set at the bottom of this gap right here. So that gap may or may not be filled. It's just something that we need to acknowledge. It also sets up almost too perfectly with, again, that 50% retracement of this move right here. It's a really interesting chart, interesting setup. For those of you that haven't had a chance to read our Clarity Spotlight from last week, make sure you do. It talks a lot about the upcoming easing monetary policy and how certain sectors of the market are going to benefit from that. And the consumer discretionary retail sector and Amazon, particularly because of their scale, are one of the companies that are going to possibly benefit the most from the easing monetary policy. And being the forgotten mega cap has allowed Wall Street to build a very large position here. Look at this base that they've established, that they've back tested twice, taking all of the retail trade out of it, preparing for a potential advance into the next leg of this uptrend, which would be wave 1, 2, and then heading into 3. So really exciting time for Amazon. We did go into some trade considerations and some cascading levels here that were based on moving averages, cascading stops that we would be looking at if we were in this trade. We talked about this gap right here. We talked about the potential entries that this time of year really provides coming out of all of this volatility. If we're ahead of the game, we can take advantage of these opportunities. So make sure you check out the trade considerations. But that's all the time we've got for Amazon this week. We'll see you next week.